Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Road to Redbull Wololo Legacy September weeklies, and we've got Give You Anxiety playing in red as the English on the southeast corner of the map, and in the northwest, his opponent today in a best of three will be KauP playing in blue as the Chinese. The map is Lipany, and both players are going to be looking to progress to the next round of the September weeklies for the Road to Redbull Wololo Legacy, and they've got a mountain to climb. It's a best of three mountain against these two great players of Age of Empires 4. With the English versus the Chinese, this is certainly going to make an interesting matchup. Both civilizations do thrive in the mid to late game, especially the Chinese with their siege, but of course the English can technically get infinite gold with the enclosures from the mill. That special technology that really sees them through into that late game, into a really strong position. But the English can be relatively aggressive as well, and it seems like Give You Anxiety, I've been monitoring his gameplay for a while, is a highly aggressive player, so we could expect some shenanigans out of him. Maybe looking to start off the game with a short bow rush. I've seen him do it plenty of times before, and it does appear to be that build so far. I actually really enjoyed this build, and I might actually codify it on the channel, and so actually put it out for you guys if you want to try and do it. It's really useful against civilizations like the Holy Roman Empire, or civilizations that like to boom up like the Chinese. We shall see what KauP decides to do. It looks like he's going to go up with the Imperial Academy, maybe looking to activate that Song Dynasty as time goes along. Actually getting that wood, long chopping it. We'll need a lumber camp sooner or later. And things going quite smoothly here for Give You Anxiety. Using 4 villagers to go up with that council hall, it tells you one thing, that's for sure, that he's looking to be aggressive early on with the English. This is one of the reasons why I'm casting this set and this best of 3. We're going to be in this is going to be a banger of a set, guys, I can tell, because of course both players are very accomplished, but Give You Anxiety is very aggressive as well. And so we should expect a lot of action early on in this particular game, but also this set. As we can see, the Imperial Official picking up that tax collection, ramping up that gold amount. Let's just take a look at that gold amount. 50 at the moment. Of course, we'll be working his way up on that gold count to get the Song Dynasty most likely. But we shall see, because he's actually got no villagers on gold so far. I think he needs to actually probably protect his economy. He probably sees that his opponent's going to be aggressive here, especially when he sees the time, because it's 4 minutes and there is the uptime for both players. And what will we see for KauP? Will he go for a stable opening once he can afford the wood? Of course, is a little bit far off that, especially seeing he's just had to invest wood in a house. We shall see what he decides to go first. And we can see the longbow's already starting to come out from that council hall. KauP keeping an eye on that with the scout. We shall see how far this longbow manages to make it across the map before he's met with some resistance. Villagers being pulled off the gold now. I think KauP is not going to be looking for that Song Dynasty. And he's going to be bringing those villagers to wood, and no surprises there. Going to get an Imperial Official from that Imperial Academy, going to supervise the wood. He needs some units, and he needs them fast, because the longbows are making their way across, and the wood line is relatively exposed. Going to need a stable, most likely. Maybe even an outpost to buy some time. He's certainly going to need to buy some time, and that is the case. He's going to rush up an outpost. Now, the Chinese villagers do build fast, so they should go up pretty fast, but the outposts have been nerfed in terms of how fast they build. It's not ideal. A longbow going to make his way across, going to try and harass some of the villagers. The outposts will go up in time, of course. And if the villagers garrison inside, the longbows will need to back off and try and avoid being hit too much, and actually gets away with it completely. Give You Anxiety does have 2 scouts as well. This part of the map is actually relatively nicely well protected, but a couple of longbows could be put here on this wood line and just harass those villagers on wood. And that could become a problem for KauP if he's not ready to deal with it, and he is, because he's going to be starting to get that stable. And these longbows are ranged by the town centre, which is not ideal for Give You Anxiety and his aggression here. But that stable will help ease things a little bit in terms of the pressure, because he'll be able to get some horsemen out to counter these longbows. Just 3 longbows so far. Is he continuing to produce them? Looks possibly like it. We might end up seeing a barracks. We're actually seeing some villagers being brought out. It looks like it's going to be a second town centre for Give You Anxiety. It's not something you often see as the English. It's something he's going to go for in this game. We're looking to be nicely balanced with his eco as he gets a couple of longbows just to harass. This is kind of a bit of a ruse. He's made the Chinese invest in that wood for that outpost. He's probably going to lose these 3 longbows now. No real chance of him getting away from his horseman. I think the scout needs to back off as well, because the horseman does move faster than the scout, so that would be the next target. And I think GUA is just going to cut his losses there. He does have that second town centre almost up and running on that deer patch. Valuable source of food there. Villagers are being pulled off of wood now. Where are they going to go off to? Exactly. Looks like they might be off to become gold miners. to get a castle age behind this. I'm not entirely sure about this. Maybe man-at-arms. But it's a bit of an awkward one. It's sending a lot of villagers. 9 villagers to gold. That is really not anticipated. Pretty surprising to see that. It might be the castle age time, but it's going to need a lot of villagers on food to be able to do that. Meanwhile, we see KauP making sure that he gets his food income. He's getting a lot of wood income. Maybe thinking of getting another production building. We shall see. Second town centre is now up and running for the English. You'll see the horsemen go through to that gold vein. You'll see those number of villagers on gold and think this must be a fast castle. Probably will be able to survive. I'm going to start shooting at the horsemen with the villagers. He backs off the gold. And he managed to bank in only 169 gold. That's a lot of idle time for the walking there. But he will be leading the villager count very soon. Although, having said that, Song Dynasty will help with that for the Chinese. The Song Dynasty, of course, unlocking some bonuses, which will be the 35% reduction time of villager production. And that will really boost that economy for the Chinese, and especially if he opts to get a second town centre, which looks to be the case. As you can see, going very heavy on that stone mine with 7 villagers and supervision of that mining camp. Osman will be going down, loses 1 there for free on the town centre. The rage is rather special there for the English. And now he's going for barracks, looking to get some spearmen on the field. Be cautious about the fact that the stable is still out there and possibly producing units, although it looks like KauP is pretty settled with what he has so far. Getting a Barbican of the Sun in that front position, and now going to be getting a second town centre right next to the first, so it's going to have a very nicely condensed economy, and that will be very hard to push as time goes for GUA. But it has to be brought into consideration. Even if he does get up to the next age quite quickly, he's likely to need some siege to push all this down, because sure, you can chuck in a knight or two, especially if there's just only 1 static defense, maybe a Barbican, but once you start talking about Barbican 2 town centers, a lot of garrisonable space here for the villagers. Once they get in, that'll be big problem for those knights. And let's take a look at the villager count, seeing as we can. A spearman does come out. Actually, let's take a look at this first. And the spearman not focusing on the weak horseman is now. So nice micro there by GUA. Does pick 1 off. It's a good value there overall for GUA. 34 villagers for KauP, 36 for GUA. And unfortunately, that lead is not going to be building. In fact, KauP is going to narrow the gap and start to take a lead, especially with 2 town centers Song Dynasty. A lot of villagers in gold there, as you can see. Possibly getting closer to that castle age, and GUA is actually pretty close, all things considered. Once it does get to the next stage, will he go with a 3rd town centre in the form of the King's Palace? Be interesting to see, or does he go for the White Tower? We need to keep an eye on this, ladies and gents, as the village is now put down for KauP. Be unlocking a lot of population space there for him. Do you see some Imperial officials now going to be perhaps supervising the granary, or just picking up the gold? Looks like picking up the gold. Increasing the gold income for KauP. No blacksmith for him just yet. No blacksmith for give you anxiety either. Of course, he's prioritizing getting that castle. He's got the food for it. Needs to drop off a little bit of gold. And the question is, what will he go for in the next stage to get there? We're going to need to get into the fight. Will lose 1 more villager. Villagers getting in the action as well with the short bows. Wants to stay on the gold. Does have enough gold to get the next stage now. What does he go up with? He's going up with the King's Palace, so that will unlock a 3rd town centre, and it's kind of needed in this situation, of course, with the Chinese being on the 2 town centre Song Dynasty. Going up with 15 villagers, really trying to get that up tech very fast. KauP nowhere near the source for that castle age. Having to start seeding some farms. They've got a quite hard farming transition. As you can see, GUA not going to farms just yet. Maybe looking to do so now because he's running out of deer patch. Does have a deer patch on the right with berries as well, so this could have been a fantastic town centre spot. I'm not sure if he maybe didn't have that scouted. That would have had berries and deer patch as well. Would have been quite nice to have there, but it would have been quite close to the edge of the map. A little bit awkward for him. And there is that castle age now for GUA. Going to be getting a monastery as soon as possible to get some relics into play. Whereas the Chinese now probably saving up for that castle age himself. Does have a lot of horsemen on the field. A couple of spearmen out for GUA, but won't be enough. Looks like he's just going to trade the units there. Not a good trade there for GUA, all things considered. Might snipe 1 horseman, probably won't. But yeah, might do. No, he doesn't. He just gets pipped to the post. GUA losing spearmen. It's going to have to take those villagers off for gold, and that's a bit of a problem because he doesn't have a gold protected now. And without the gold, he won't have those expensive castle edge units. We'll be looking to get a monk out. Does lose another villager. Spearman comes out, takes a horseman. Villagers need to transition to another gold. Does have a back hold here. Needs to keep that safe. We'll need to wall this up or at least get some static defenses. Does have some town center protection though. Will certainly help him keep that gold safe. And it is the back gold at the end of the day. As a monk comes out to pick up the first relic. Looks like he's going to go for this one closest to him to get that gold income coming in. We shall see, because the village count now starting at 61 for KauP, 54 for GUA, and so you can see the villager differential really starting to build up here. The economy thriving here for KauP, especially with the supervision on the gold. As you can see, a lot of villagers on that gold. Trying to get that castle age time very quickly. Will do so, especially on the gold front. Two spearmen will be taking out that horseman. Villagers are coming forward on the left side, maybe to do some walling up, and that is the case. Into quite extensive walls here. Looking to get access to that sacred site. Okay, a knight does pop out for GUA in the English. There's another monk picking up a relic or two. So it has got one in the bank already. We'll be quite glad to see another one. That'd be 100 gold per minute. Not too bad. About 2.5 villagers worth of resources gathering passively for GUA and the English. Picking up another relic as well. Another monk coming in. Looking to get 3 relics. Will that monk be sniped? The horseman spot it. Or at least go past it. They don't decide to engage. The knight kept them engaged. Kept them chasing. Then we're going to come back and try and protect the monk. The monk should make it in there. There is now an age up there for KauP. So going to be getting up to the castle age. Should be the astronomical clock tower. We shall see. It's not. It's the Imperial Palace. Interesting landmark choice there. It's going to have a large sight radius, but also can activate to view location of enemy workers for 10 seconds. Looks like maybe KauP is going to be very aggressive in the castle age when he gets there. Going for palace guards. As you can see, he's getting the barracks up. Or it might be for spearmen, but I suspect it will be... Actually, he's dropping down an archery range as well. So it could go either way. Could be spears, crossbows. We'll have to see. He does see some knights on the field. He'll be aware of the knights. And we can see a nice farming transition for GUA there. Let's take a look at the village count. Now 80 for KauP, 70 for GUA. Starting to build up a bit of a... well, it's trying to narrow the gap in the villager count at least. And 3 relics are in the play for the monastery for the English. Will he be able to grab another? Getting another stable there. As the new age begins, and the walls are very extensive here for the Chinese. Looks like the monk trying to pick up this relic, and KauP will probably see this with the 2 villagers. Will he react in time? Is any military on the field in that area? Doesn't appear to be any. He activates the sacred site, and that's a huge problem there. The villager's going to wall him out, possibly. Spearmen are going to protect those hunt there on the back of that base. Monks are going quite ham on that, and look at the villagers. They're trying to wall him out. Will he get it in time? I think he will. I think the monk's trapped. And that is a big, big problem for GUA. He's going to have to go the long way around. In fact, there is no long way around. Maybe try and convert the villagers, maybe. I don't know. He's going to have to try and get the monk. The monk is in a very precarious position. He's trapped. There's no way back in for him. And the Chinese have walled this up. He's trying to prolong the game up. He knows that he will have a lead if he is able to maintain his position. But this is still open. There's one spot that's missing here for KauP. It's relatively well protected because in this position it has the Barbican and the Sun, but the monk might make him through. He won't make it through because the spearmen on the chase, 4 of them. Looking to get the sacred side on the left side. Might lose another, well, will lose another monk now because of the horseman going around that left side. Getting a gate. Looks to get an outpost in a very nice spot there. That will offer so much vision for KauP. Village differential now 93 to 82. Still an 11 villager lead there for KauP. As you can see, farming transition well underway now. As this game does look to be heading towards the mid to late castle age. Not much aggression from the Chinese. KauP quite happy to just lead this to the mid to late game. So it seems at least. We'll be picking up 1 relic you suspect at least. It's getting a lot of scholars, or monks rather. That time. Lucky monks queued up there from that monastery. The site is now being taken in the middle of the map. As we hear the chiming of the relic. Knights heading there to protect. The monk brings that relic home for KauP. I suspect it might be 3 to 4 relics. There's 3 already there for the English. Not sure if there's still one more on the map or not. There is indeed, and it's very much within KauP's reach. No real way for GUA to grab hold of that. So with just some static defenses, relics will be picked up there. GUA heading forward with some knights, and Imperial Palace does have Imperial Spies to be activated. This will reveal the location of enemy workers for 10 seconds, and that'd be quite nice to pick off some pocket ecos if he's not aware where they are. We see a couple of spearmen just harassing that wood line on the left side. Villagers being pulled out. Knights are starting to siege down or torch down that gate. That could be significant. We see a massive army here. GUA going to be under pressure soon. Spears and palace guards is the army composition of choice, with a couple of lancers there mixed in for good measure, as we hear the second relic being picked in for KauP and the Chinese. Hand cannon slits is coming in now for KauP. I believe it's going to be in this outpost here. At least one of them. Yep, it is this one indeed. Going to give a lot of vision. Let's just take a look at that. He gives so much vision here on that hill. Quite nice there for KauP, that is for sure. A couple of knights going to get a villager pick. I think that was Imperial. That might have been the Imperial Fisher actually. I'm not sure. Could have been. In any case, the knights take the fight. We'll be looking to take down a couple of horsemen and then some of the villagers after that. Palace guards will be adding into the mix, and 2 palace guards there should start to clean this up, although knights are doing pretty well. But now we see the army come in, the rest of it, a lot of spearmen coming in there. Knights going to have to run away. They can't manage it, they die. And now GUA has broken in with the massive knights and a couple of longbows in, well, kind of a couple with 2 crossbows as well. Bit of a mixed army there for GUA, heading towards that wood line now. Knights going to do some damage. Gets a charge attack, a lot of charge attack, and really get some villager kills here. Probably will, but it might be under attack very soon. Yep, the spearmen are being brought there for KauP. Looking to push that back, and they will push that back for sure. Spears chasing them away completely. GUA needs to make a switch here really for possibly, I think it's going to have to be crossbows. It could go for longbows, but the longbows won't take a decent trade against the palace guards. Crossbows will do decently well against the spears with their kind of base attack. Villagers being brought out here to build an outpost. That's a lot of villagers. What was he planning? He was planning a keep there, but he's thinking better of it. I think he recognizes that won't happen. Not until the army's cleared up, which KauP is starting to back off there. Feels like he can't take a fight. The villagers getting into the action as well. Looks like he's going to try and put a keep, but KauP's army is looking strong here. Let's take a look at the military count. 44 for KauP, 34 for GUA. GUA just doesn't seem to really have enough. Taking a lot of villager idle time, using the villagers for the spears, and I'm not sure if it's worth it at this point. He's struggling, but it's just coming out. I'm not sure where they're going. They're running to the death. GUA, no. Where are the villagers going? They're trying to torch that down, and he thinks better of it, and I think it must have been a misclick. The villagers have to be brought back. Longbow's getting good value. They take out the spearmen, though. Now, GUA trying to stabilize again, but he has so much idle time of 16 to 17, 18 villagers. A couple of them went down, of course. Now he's going on that stone, but that was a lot of idle time. Certainly wasn't worth it. GUA now floating quite a bit of gold and wood because of that kind of aggression there. Wasn't able to macro as effectively by his standards, that is. By his very high standards. 2 sacred sites are in possession of the Chinese and KauP, so that'll offset that extra relic that GUA has. The longbows need to pull back here. They won't want to be hounded down by the horsemen. Where are these villagers going? Oh my god, they're trying to head forward. I'm not entirely sure where. They're being picked apart here. There's crossbows. I'm not sure why these villagers kept getting caught out. This is not what GUA wants. Longbow's going to be camping underneath this outpost, trying to take out what remains there for KauP. And overall, GUA takes a good trade there, wins the fight. Probably he has so much idle time on his villagers unnecessarily, and that's going to hurt. Going to be able to siege workshop, maybe for some mangonels. We shall see what he opts to do. We can see the farming transition really well underway there for the Chinese. 3 granaries, a lot of farms, and the economy looking strong here for KauP. 125 villagers to 100 for GUA rather. And GUA has so much idle time with his villagers as well. They keep going forward. They don't know what they're doing. Are they going forward? Are they staying back? What are they up to? Not sure. These villagers know exactly what's going on here. Doesn't have the wood. No, he does have the wood for some siege. Getting springords. Springald placement in the outpost there for KauP will offer us some good protection in the form of static defenses. 2 knights trying to make a good fight of this, but won't manage it. The horsemen will pick apart that knight. As we see, NSTBs start to almost consider firing. The longbows are going to have to micro this, but there's a couple of horsemen there. A bit too many, you feel. Longbows are trying to attack, move, micro this. Does take off a couple of horsemen. They are veteran archers, so they do a decent amount of damage, but if the NSTBs get fire off, and they do, that could have been disastrous. A lot of HP has been taken off. Those archers will be taken down. I think GUA gives up on them. No way back for those guys. Does he have something in to follow up? He does. The villagers going around the long side again. what these guys up to. He's going to get another keep on this hill. It appears so. Do something. What is he doing? He's trying to torch in. There's a spring on a placement in this outpost. I just don't understand where these villages are going. It's going to take them a long time to torch down this palisade. I mean, he will be able to get through, but we'll be losing a couple of villages again. He decides to back off. Goes for the wood line there. I just don't know what those villages are up to. Now Spearmen and Horsemen pushing this back for KauP, who has more villages than as it is rather. And now the military starting numbers are starting to build up. Has split up his army into two spots. Want to be taking care of these knights back home and then head forward. Does have two Nestor Bees as well. That'll be problematic for GUA. It does have a couple of Springholds, which we have to do a decent amount of work. But these villagers don't know what to do with themselves. They're completely trapped. They're completely walled up here. He needs to get out of there. He's got to try and chop his way through. I don't know. He needs to go back through this way, really. But these villagers don't know what they're doing. They're chopping wood in the meantime. I just get the feeling that KauP has been playing this one very well. Does now have a greater military as well. So KauP looking to kind of build on what he has. Two Nestor Bees, Spearmen and Horsemen. Good army composition. We want to take care of the Springles. We don't want to lose his Nestor Bees too cheaply. There's an outpost there, so the attack speed buff will be happening for GUA. We'll be having access to the network of castles, which increases the attack speed by 20%. Nestor Bees start to fire off their fireworks, and it looks like he's going to just take the fight without the Nestor Bees. Spearmen will take care of the knights. Nestor Bees does start to fire off near that outpost. And the Spearmen might prove a bit too much here for GUA. KauP starting to push forward strongly. The army numbers starting to build up. There are a couple of longbows and crossbows there in reserve for GUA though. Doing a second siege workshop, trying to get some Springles. The Springles aren't getting close enough. It does lose two of the Springles. Wasn't able to take out the Nestor Bees, and you feel like the Nestor Bees are going to do great work here now. There is a Springle there still. It will two-shot them. The Nestor Bees, they retract. They pull back whilst he can. KauP has so much gold in the bank. It's a little bit crazy actually when you think about it. Nestor Bees still stay intact. That Springald there will give you anxiety, does go down. Look at this. 3 sacred sites in position for KauP now. Has access to this one. It's a bit painful for GUA to lose that one, and now he's going to struggle. He is on a timer, that is for sure. He needs to get access to one of these sacred sites, possibly the one on the right. Look at the number of outposts protecting these sacred sites. That's going to be a problem. The gold income looking so strong here, KauP, and it's got to be because of those. Well, I mean, the sacred sites will certainly be helping. More Springles going down for GUA. He's losing a lot of siege here, a lot of expensive units. He's still managing to maintain his position, but the trades here for KauP are fantastic. He will trade those horsemen for those siege Springles any day of the week, especially now that it gives a little bit more breathing space for these Nestor Bees, and it forces GUA to keep investing wood and gold into those Springles. 25 minutes on the clock. Give you anxiety. Is struggling a little bit. Chinese, played by KauP. Looking a formidable force. Does have palisade walls up. Still open now though. GUA is going to waltz right in. See what damage they can get. At least some scouting information will be helpful. Villagers are going to rush through and move for a keep drop here. So you need something drastic. The villagers don't know what to do. They head back again. Just always seems like those villagers are very indecisive. I think he's trying to decap one of the sacred sites. I'm going to try and torch this down, but doesn't have any emplacements here. KauP does have in this outpost. We'll probably look to get some emplacements in the other 2 outposts in time. Will he get it though? There is the gong for the Imperial Age for KauP. Get the feeling this is going to be an Imperial Age into GG, because it doesn't seem to be a way back here for GUA. Population capped there for KauP almost, and GUA miles off it. 119 villagers versus the 133. We see a lot of economy here for KauP. Supervision. Look at the farming economy. Holy moly, it's looking good here for KauP, and now he's heading forward with Nestor Bees with some horsemen, spearmen, and a couple of lancers added into the mix, and there's a defensive keep here being rushed up by a lot of villagers. I think GUA wanted that to be aggressive. He's trying to break down that palisade wall. Does get in. It's going to try to decap the sacred site. Needs to take care of the monk first. But now here comes the push by KauP, and the villagers will be able to build up the keep, but at what cost? Not too bad a cost. A couple of Springles will go down to the spears, and I think really KauP he won't mind that at all. Nestor Bees gets an attack on the longbows, and a lot of them go down, even though they're under the keep. KauP doesn't mind. He's going to fire off with 5 Nestor Bees. Again, another volley gets off, and GUA losing everything in that volley of the Nestor Bees, and he loses so many units. And with GUA now an age behind, with KauP in the Imperial Age, he's really going to struggle here. Let's look at the military count. 62 versus 26. GUA lost so much military. Does have a keep there to buy him some time. Will it be enough? You get the feeling he's so far behind now, and KauP going to pile on the pressure. Could even look to get some bombards on the field. We shall see. He does have the astronomical clock tower, I believe. Does he have that yet? No, actually doesn't. He went up with the Great Wall Gatehouse. No astronomical clock tower, but he will have a siege workshop, that's for sure. That's how he's producing those Nesta Bees. Yeah, 2 bombards are queued up. Those will pop out. They'll make short work of that keep, and now GUA under a lot of pressure. Knight just heads through. He doesn't mind fighting underneath the town center. He's fully population capped. You can see the massive amounts of raiding on the farming economy. The idle economy here for GUA is terrible, bad here. Not looking good for him. 13 villages idled. Now he's really struggling. Doesn't have the static defenses. Didn't have the walls that KauP did. The army runs straight through, and there's no defensive keep in that position protecting the farms. Let's have one here. So the army running through for KauP will take some HP loss, but he won't mind. As you can see, the Nesta Bees firing off in this keep. Harry Nesta Bees have a greater range of fire than the keep does. And there is the GG. GUA taps out. Game number 1 goes to KauP. Best of 3 is heating up. KauP takes the first game. Will he cement his win and the victory of this series by taking the next game, or will GUA have a response? Welcome back to game number 2 between Give You Anxiety and KauP, and this will be an interesting game on Dry Arabia with GUA playing in the north corner of the map in red as the Rus. And in the south, playing in blue, his opponent playing as the English will be KauP. And of course, KauP winning that first game means that GUA has it all to do. He will want to pull up into an equalizing position if he can. And he's got a tough task ahead of him because GUA is going to have to come across and beat the English today, playing as the Rus on Dry Arabia. We shall see what both players decide to do. Will be a hunting cabin opening for the Rus as expected. Getting an extra scout, going to be challenging for the bounty. The little mini game that the Rus often engage in. We're picking up some of the hunt here, his own hunt here with this 3rd scout. Is that the 3rd scout? That is indeed the 3rd scout. And looks like KauP has done a good job of clearing up that deer patch. Wolf is going to be coming under GUA's control there. And another deer patch has been denied there by KauP, so this is actually really interesting. KauP has actually done pretty well to deny 2 deer patches already. That's really what you can ask as someone defending against the Rus in this early kind of game, mini game for the bounty. Just make sure you take your own deer patches, and take a look at this. KauP, in fact, actually getting a 3rd deer patch, and that's a little bit unlucky there, or not unlucky necessarily, but it's just not what GUA will have wanted, because GUA will be lacking on the bounty somewhat now. That's only 100 bounty in the bank, and he's actually gone for the wheelbarrow. It means he's only got 77 gold left, and that might leave him a bit short to age up if he doesn't get more bounty. He's going to bring sheep, might be able to kill those sheep and add to the gold amount, but he's going to need some wolves here, and he's going to need a lot of them, because he's going to be lacking the deer. Only managing to get 1 deer patch as the Rus is not ideal with 3 scouts. He's going to be picking up a decent number of sheep, but needs to take care of the gold business, needs to take care of those wolves to get the bounty he needs. I think there might be another one here in the northwest potentially. Another sheep there, and there's another wolf there. So that should be GUA's. Hopefully he doesn't miss that, because he's going to need that gold. Wait. Is he actually going to miss that? No, he's going to pick that up. Or so he should, as long as he's attack moved and doesn't just go past. No, he's gone past it. GUA hasn't attack moved. So this is one of the things that you can often do with the Rus, is you can attack move so that it kind of attacks anything that's nearby, and he's going to miss that wolf. Unlucky there, and he's going to be struggling on the gold, guys. 115. This is not what he would want. Should be okay with the number of sheep he has and the fact that he's bringing another wolf there. We'll have to see. It's going to be close either way. That mini-game certainly won there by KauP, that's for sure. Going up with the Council Hall now. Looking to get early aggression out. We can see this kind of build here for the English is being very aggressive. It's very interesting to watch. Often we can sometimes see an early mill for wheelbarrow, an early farming transition, kind of heavy eco approach. But it actually looks like both players today playing as the English. Obviously, GUA playing English in the last game, going for an aggressive build, and KauP doing the same in game number 2. Yeah, this is the problem. This is the problem with GUA not winning that early kind of mini game. He had to long distance mine 30 gold there. No real option. He had to. You know, she just got the 200 gold. Might not have needed to, actually. As long as that... I don't know if that was a second run at it. Yeah, that was actually a second run at the gold mine. So you had to do that. That's not really what you want there. And I get the golden gate to age up with, though. And it's struggling here in the early stages of the game. What happened here? This happens sometimes. I've noticed this happens. He's going to lose sheep here. Let's start just going all wrong here for GUA. Should be able to pick this one up though. This cap, that should never really happen. I don't know if there's some sort of bug. I've noticed it happen a few times. A little bit awkward. KauP, get into the field age. Longbows will start to come out. GUA will be aware of that. There's a wolf there. Oh my god. That's 2 wolves there. That's a lot of bounty, guys. That's not to be sniffed at. Because that's a decent amount. Like you can see 25 gold per wolf. There's another one there. That's 50 gold. And there's one here on the northwest. I don't know if that's been taken. It's not. 75 gold for the taking. Decent amount. It shouldn't be underestimated how much that can help. As we see a wooden fortress going up for GUA as well. It's going to offer him a lot of protection. I like this for the roost because obviously the longbows will be wrapping around and looking to get some villager kills on that wood line. Now with that age coming up means that the wooden fortress does have the potential to get arrows if he does go for stone, but he probably won't. He just acts as a static defense to be able to garrison inside if needed. I'm just going to go for an archery range. Going to counter with fire with the archery range of himself. Now the English will have to be careful here because the longbows are a little bit vulnerable in certain situations. So often the games with the English can snowball quite quickly. It takes one big fight, one bad fight, and things can change very quickly, either in your favor or out of your favor. And it comes down to mobility. The archers for the Rus, their mobility, well, the archers for all the other civilizations have a faster movement speed. As you'll see, there's a 1.25 tiles per second movement speed for those archers. For the longbows, 1.12. So whilst the longbows do have a longer range, certainly the archers for the other civilizations can dictate the pace of the fight. If the longbows get too close, GUA and his archers can chase them down and do a lot of damage, but it doesn't seem like the archer amount or the longbow numbers are building up. In fact, looks like KauP is going for a second town centre, just like GUA did in the last game. Getting plenty of villagers on that stone mine, 6 of them. Has enough wood for that second town centre already. It does a drop off, not quite enough stone there just yet there. It'll be interesting to see where he puts this second town centre, likely on a deer patch. We shall see. There's quite a nice spot here, but it's quite far away from his main base. That's only one issue. Deer patch and berries there. Nice place for a second town centre. Gold nearby. Maybe opting for here. That's a little bit out into the open. Does have a wood line attached to it. It's actually going to go for a second town centre close to home on that wood line. And this is kind of a trend we're seeing from KauP actually. He did this in the first game with the Chinese, keeping the second town centre close by. Looks like GUA is going to be opting to go for a... Wait a minute. I almost counted... Well, it's going to be a second town centre for him as well. Yeah, 150 stone, as you can see, using the golden gate. It's an interesting touch here for the Rus, as you guys may notice. He's actually going to get the boar as well. This is a very nice play. Going to get the boar and the deer. That's looking pretty strong there from the food count. But only half of the villagers are fighting there. And it's going to have to take the weak villagers away. Does take them away. Gets it done and dusted. 75 gold there for the taking as well. And I suspect you'll see the town centre being placed down. Bit of an awkward position because of the deer kills. In any case, it does get put down. And bit of a surprise not to see that against the wood line. In any case, it is what it is. Going up with a lot of villagers there. 13 to be exact. And that'll be a nice boost for the food income as time goes on. So 2 town centres for both players. It does feel like the English would have got the second town centre up quite a bit earlier. So the villager count will be a bit ahead. 28 for GUA, 28 for KauP. It's actually dead even. But I feel like KauP will be getting the villager lead. And actually, that town centre going up at the exact same time. So it's actually even Stevens on the village count. But the nice thing for GUA is the boar. It's actually not taking the boar first. It's going for the deer first. I suppose it is closer, but I think it might just be a missed rally point. In any case, this is going to be an interesting engagement. The food count going to be looking very nice there for GUA. Farming transition coming out of KauP. This potentially gives GUA a bit of a window to attack because it will be having less of a hard transition to farming. It means that he can pump those resources into military. Going for the boar carcass just yet. I mean, we'll be taking it eventually, of course, and so it will be certainly helpful in the medium to long term. If we see a stable being put down, does have 3 villagers on gold, maybe looking to get some early knights on the field. Getting double broadaxe first. Might need a couple of villagers on gold if he's looking for double for knight production. Getting a second stable, so it might actually be horsemen instead. Or maybe dash in a couple of knights there, here and there. Might even use the golden gate periodically as we see 2 barracks go down. Well, no, 1 barracks, 1 blacksmith. See a bit of an aggression here for GUA, so the archer battle will continue now. Of course, GUA will win this fight very comfortably if the fight does happen, but KauP does bring his army back to the town centre, so of course GUA won't want to pressurize too much. Can't head in too close to that town centre. couple of longbow hits on that scout. Needs to back off there. Will we see the blacksmith upgrades coming in? We see steel dagger. I suspect we'll see the ranged armor upgrade first. The iron undermesh. That's what I'm expecting to see. We shall see if KauP does that. I'm actually going to go for steel dagger first. So it's going to be aggressive here. And of course, without something to bear in mind, of course, iron undermesh will be useful if his opponent does go heavy on archers. But he's only committed to 6 so far. Of course, it's the double stable. So yep, steel dagger will make a bigger difference in the grand context of the game. Especially if the archer numbers doesn't start to build up for GUA, which possibly could start to happen because we do see a second arch range going down. It has the first one as well, and the wood economy for the Russo is often very strong. You can see a lot of food coming in for GUA, and it's actually starting to transition more villages to gold, I think. Yeah, let's take a look. I just added one more villager to gold. I think this one will go back to gold as well. Getting a blacksmith. We're going to get some upgrades. We'll need those upgrades coming in soon because KauP has his upgrades on the way. Steel dagger coming in very, very soon. Fascinating start to the game. Pretty tentative for both players so far. We shall see the food count really quite skyrocket for GUA, I think, because of the deer and that boar carcass in particular. 2,000 food on that boar carcass. The fastest food resource in this map, that's for sure, on Dry Arabia. We're looking to get a meal here on the berries. Be interested in taking that free food on the map. As he heads forward with a couple of knights, a couple of horsemen and some archers. An outpost going in the stealth first. That's a nice spot there. Might be a nice pick off here for GUA. Couple of spearmen there for KauP, but those get taken out by the archers. And now this is a problem here for KauP because KauP can't really back away from this fight. As we've talked about, the movement speed for the English isn't as fast as it is for the Rus. Although Rus might need to back off here because the outpost will be taking part in the fight and killing off a lot of those archers. The archer numbers are starting to dwindle here for GUA. As we said before, once things start to spiral out of control, it can start to snowball. And it all came down to the outpost. The outpost going up was so key there. It took out a lot of the archers there for GUA and stopped the push. Without that outpost, that could have been a totally different fight. Looks like hunting camp is going to go on that deer. It's a bit too far for his liking there. Bit surprised not to see it on the berries. It is what it is. Outpost creep does start to head forward there for KauP. He will see that town centre. And this will be a nice position for him to attack from. Will we see siege engineering coming in? In fact, siege engineering is already in for KauP. And that is crucial because we should be expecting to see some rams soon. He's updating that lumber camp. Doesn't have double broadaxe just yet though, does he? No, he does. He does indeed have double broadaxe. That'd be nice for the wood count. Looking to afford some rams. And this is the issue for GUA. He's kind of diving in, diving out. Spearmen are going to come into the fight. And the archers' numbers are dwindling here for GUA. The longbowman range really working quite nicely. Now their attack speed buffer is in play with the network of castles. The spearmen are acting as a nice meat shield on the front lines, bearing the brunt of a lot of the cavalry attack. And now the longbows catch off a lot of horsemen on the retreat. And that's a problem for GUA. Every time he backs off, he loses units there because of the range of the longbowman. And the longbowman going to cycle through on the boar meat. A couple of villagers still trying to take that meat, but isn't able to do too much there because of the longbowman range. Outpost will go up. Villagers can't be ranged from that town centre, and look at that, a ram is going to be starting to be built. Now villagers have to back off, and now they can't really freely take that boar, and that's a bit of a problem. There's 500 food on that GUA doesn't actually really have access to. That's an issue. Might start to lose that second town centre very soon. What does he have in response? He's going for the deer. Wait, is that the second boar? I think that might indeed be the second boar. 8 villagers there would suggest so. Food income looking good here for GUA, but just get the feeling there's not much military. A bit surprising there. 28 for KauP, 16 for GUA. I'm not too sure where the military is going into. It's going to horsemen. They're relatively expensive, especially with the knights. And it just feels like he's struggling with the unit production here. He's spending everything he's got, almost. He's got a decent amount of gold, but the trouble is that a lot of gold, maybe thinking about the castle age, but the problem for him now, he's got about 500 resources. I think he's trading in. He must be trading in because he has no use for that gold right now. And his production buildings are being torched down. The problem for him is he's taking the villagers out. He's given up on the second town centre. This second town centre is going down. And there's no villagers here. The villagers could be taking down the longbows. And instead, the rams are just getting there for free. And it's a bit difficult here because Aristus is in this outpost. So GUA can't really fight that particularly well. And you need to do some damage here with the knights. Turning into a full feudal affair here at this point. Dry Arabia and GUA having to head back. Let's take a look at the villager count. 60 for KauP, 54 for GUA, and that's going to start to increase and steadily rise to the 2 town centres for the English. As you can see now, starting to get some map control with the static defenses in terms of walls. That's because of this forward position as he takes down the second town centre. Second ram is on the field, Spearman adding into the torch damage as well. Hunting Cabin will be going down before not too long, and KauP really starting to build up military numbers 38 to 30. GUA looking to get some value here. Where is his knights? Villagers here going forward for GUA. I'm not too sure what they were planning to do. Maybe looking to get some outpost wooden fortresses. I don't know what they were doing. They're caught out of position by Spearman. As they head back home, a bit of idle time on the villagers there. Cavalry does head back towards the fight, and the archers are going to focus on the spearmen. If the spearmen go down for KauP, that would become a problem because there's a lot of cavalry in here. The archers are trying to chase them down. Spearmen have a good movement speed. They're backing away. GUA losing a lot of time here, and he is losing units here, left, right, and centre. Trouble is, he doesn't have as many archers as he did. KauP heading back to the static defences in the form of the outpost. There are two outposts there with arrow slits. This is going to do a lot of damage. There is cavalry, but there are spearmen involved as well. The archers for GUA need to focus fires on the spears. If the spears goes down, he might have an angle of attack. But with the spears now down, the cavalry should be able to clear this out. KauP going to be in trouble here. We'll lose a lot of those armies, but the armies do start to... No, he's just lost everything. It's the arrow slits and emplacements though. That will be doing damage. Outposts will be torched down. There's no fortifications. Was researching. Oh no, will this come in time? Will this burn down? That's actually a bit of a problem for GUA. If that gets fortified, that will take even longer to take down, and that's less than ideal. GUA. It goes down in the end. It goes down in the end. Going to take out the next outpost, and KauP trying to get these walls up. Quite extensive walls here. Gets it on the left side, on the west side of his base. Working slowly on the east side, but this is a problem because he's actually quite open in the middle, and GUA looking to pressure the issue now. Now behind this, we do see the tech up there for the English with the King's Palace. The village count will be looking healthy here for KauP. 69 versus 60. KauP needs to survive, and if there's one civilization that's good at surviving, it will be the English. They're known as a very defensively strong civilization, with the network of castles bonus, as well as the town centers having greater range and extra damage. But with the third town center, that's going to be a bigger problem for GUA. That means the timer will be set very, very quickly because the eco will start to build into army sooner or later. A couple of villagers here idle there for GUA, not what he would want. But a few villagers on the deer patches, and farming transition is being kept off here for the Roos quite nicely. But there will come a point when he might need that farming transition. There's the castle age for KauP. GUA trying to head that way, doesn't have the goal. He's going to need to make the most of his archers now. The spearmen are heading in. The army numbers looking here for good here for KauP. The issue is that KauP has the defender's advantage. We'll be able to replenish his army. Archers need to focus fire on the spears. If the spears go down, again, it's a simple story. The knights might be able to get a decent amount of damage. The knights might head into a bit of problems here. The spearmen turn around, they brace, they take down a knight. Well, at least they nearly do. One knight does suffer the consequences. Get the feeling that GUA needs to go into archers here. In fact, the knights don't really help GUA all that much here. Straightforward archer would be quite nice for him because of the spearman addition. That would render the spearman pretty useless. But now that he's in the castle age, will KauP start transitioning into another unit? Might be man-at-arms, we shall see. Could be just upgrading his units into veterancy. We shall see what he decides to do. What has he got queued up? He has got veteran longbowman, veteran spearman. Gonna go for effectively trash units here, just costing food and wood. Getting a monastery, looking to get some of those relics, and that'd be nice for his gold income. Now GUA trying to break out here. He doesn't want to get trapped, that's for sure. Sending two knights here around the back. Maybe just going to get some raiding damage. Now GUA, does he have a second town centre now? Has he rebuilt one? Doesn't appear so. Going up to the castle age himself with the Abbey of the Trinity. Now we'll be falling behind the villagers with especially 3 town centres to 1. 74 villagers versus 66. That's a bit of an issue. GUA now reaching the castle age and harassing the villagers here on the back of the base there. On the woodline now. Army being brought back for KauP. The short bow is just going to fire on the knights there. Might even actually take one down. Does manage it. I might get some value here. Quite a few villagers here to be had. Charge attack goes off. Let me pick one or two. You'll see the spearmen are continuing the chase. The spearmen should be able to deal with this, that's for sure. Isn't even able to take one villager there after all that. Anyway, just biding his time, trying to keep the map control. Trying to get the relics on the field. Does have Abbey of the Trinity now. Trying to get some warrior monks onto the field. There is a monk now coming out for the English, looking to pick up some of those relics. GUA will need to keep an eye on this. You won't want the monks coming out. There's a relic there, ready for the taking for KauP. Now he's going for a second town center GUA. Could even afford another one if he uses the Golden Gate, potentially. Looks like KauP is saving up for a keep. Has 330 stone in the bank. Doesn't have any villagers on stone though at the moment, so wouldn't be able to afford that keep anytime soon. Maybe if the outposts, arrow slits would be helpful here. KauP maybe looking to prolong this game. He notices ahead with 3 town centers. He's taken out a town center for GUA. And it's only now that GUA is adding that second town center. Still won't be enough to bridge that gap. 85 to 70, that gap is widening, that's for sure. Feels like GUA will be getting a lot of the relics behind this. Preemptively getting a second monastery as well. He certainly wants those relics, and here comes the push. The rams get taken out. KauP didn't really get much value out of those rams. One of them gets taken out. Will be a man-at-arms switch here coming out for the English. That's a nice play. The English, of course, getting very strong man-at-arms with the ironclad upgrade. Look at that food count. This is what happens with the English with the amount of farms they have. The efficiency on the farms is so spectacular. Look at the amount he's getting. Oh, the mill never got built there for KauP. That's a bit of an oversight. Looks like the warrior monk's going to be activating 6 sacred sites. That's going to be good for the gold income, that's for sure. 1 relic already in the bank, but I would have expected him to have more by now. No relics in the bank here for KauP. Go for more barracks. It looks like it's going to be full man-at-arms here. Get defeating GUA. He needs to be careful about that. He has archers, but that's not really the play here. He's going to need crossbowmen to counter those man-at-arms. Monk coming out to this right side, trying to pick up that relic. And a couple of units going to try and prevent the wall up. The wall up does happen. The villager's going to go around the other opposite side of the wall. Our charge attack does go off. Now just 1 point of attack here for GUA. Looks like either player needs a keep here. Would be a nice position to have a keep. Has to the south for us, but look at the army numbers. GUA would be great for him if he had a mangonel or two. Teaches what he needs, and we see another relic being picked up. Second comes in for GUA. A third one comes in as well, and relic count looking quite nice here for GUA, but it needs to try and take care of some of this army here. Military numbers starting to really build up. That economy lead for KauP starting to translate into military, as we see 100 villagers to 80. 76 military to 61, and that difference is just going to keep rising and rising. There is a window of opportunity though for GUA. If you can extend this game to the major late game, a village difference won't necessarily play a huge amount of difference, especially once it starts to rebalance and equalize. But having said that, the English are incredibly strong in the late game, especially with the enclosures tech. As you can see, this monk has an entourage with him. A couple of knights going around on the south side. This might actually alert to the fact that this mill was never built, and KauP now is actually starting to build that mill. Again, the knights trying to head into the pocket economies. Not going to get all that much value. Going to get snared by the spearman. That's a bit of a waste there for GUA. Here comes a mangonel, as we discussed. That would be a nice option to try and do some damage with. We're good to take down the palisade wall and break in once again. Certainly going to need more than one mangonel though. There's a warrior monk into the fight as well. Surprised he hasn't got the sacred site yet. He's going to take that one now, I think. 3 relics with 2 sacred sites. That's a strong position for GUA. Will he be able to win this game? We shall see. Looks like he's going to take a decisive fight. English looking strong though. Look at the army here, and don't forget the network of castles and a lot of man-at-arms here. I feel like the army composition is not great here for GUA. It's got a lot of archers. The archers will take care of the spearmen, but doesn't really have an answer to the man-at-arms, and it's going to take a fight. Mangonel's going to head off, and the spearmen going to take it on the front line, and this is a bad fight for GUA. The spearmen are engaging exactly what they need to engage in, and it's the knights and the horsemen that are going to go down. The archers in behind, the veteran archers, and there is the defend all sacred sites counter activated. Problem is, he's just lost his front lines, he's lost his military, he's lost his cavalry. They took a fight against the spears. The spearmen do so much damage. The mangonel gets taken down as well, and now the veteran archers can clear this up. Man-at-arms, spearmen, archers. KauP's got everything. He's going to win a decisive fight here, and you feel like GUA is going to struggle here. There's no way to really replace this army. It doesn't have the better economy. KauP has the better economy, and behind this, a KauP looking strong. Look at the resources coming in, food and gold. He can spam man-at-arms incredible amounts here, and in fact, I don't think he can because he's population capped. He's fully population capped. Now it's just a chance for him to decap the sacred sites, push on from here, maybe get Imperial Age. He may not even need it because the mangonel siege is having to head back from GUA. He needs to fight this off somehow. It's just too many military. And he sees the mangonel, so he keeps his army on spread formation, as you can see. Trying to reduce the amount of damage that's done. Wooden Fortress gets put down on the front lines, won't go up though. Villagers have to retreat. The trouble is, the man-at-arms could just charge into those 2 mangonels. There's a Springald there, so it doesn't really seem like KauP can opt for Springalds just yet, but doesn't really need to. He's fully population capped. Just needs to take a fight. Warrior Monk gets taken down for free, really, there. Mangonels does get deployed. Man-at-Arms going to rush into that. A Spearman going to take down the Mangonel that's just popped out from the 2 Siege Workshops. Once the Siege Workshops go down, this is going to be over. This is a big fight for KauP. Again, the Spearman working on the cavalry really nicely. Veteran archers in the background. There is still a Mangonel there. We have to do a decent amount, but these guys are on a spread formation. Only a couple of archers go down to that Mangonel. Mangonel's going to be taken to pieces. And now the military, again for KauP, so superior. Give you anxiety, struggling at this point. 25 minutes on the clock almost. Now his military has to head back. He needs to regroup again. That wasn't a good fight to follow up. And on the west side, looks like outposts are going up here. KauP sent a sneaky villager, looking to get springald emplacements in these outposts. The outposts are being torched down. Villager idle time being caused now. And behind this, KauP has the presence of mind to take the sacred sites for his own. KauP needs to be careful to take care of these siege workshops. He won't want a Mangonel popping out. As we just say that, a Mangonel is about to pop out. There's going to be a Wololo. Oh, GUA might get it. Wow. That is a clutch play there by KauP. He actually deleted the units before they got converted. That was incredibly nicely done there by KauP. He figured, well, if you can't have them, if I can't have them, you can't either. He deletes them. Now the archers rush in, causing so much idle time in the economy. Population cap for KauP. He won't mind spending units here. He just needs to raid him to death now. 92 villages for GUA. He's really struggling. In game number 2 for Redbull Wololo Legacy, the road to it for the September weeklies, and now on the west side, looking to get hold of this sacred site as well. There was no emplacements in this wooden fortress. That's a problem. The right side sacred site is exposed as well. Imperial Age comes in for KauP, and there seems to be no way out for GUA. And he recognizes that. He taps out KauP, wins the set 2-0. A dominant display, a fantastic set, interesting set. And we see the English triumphant on Dry Arabia against the Rus. I hope you guys enjoyed this casted game, and if you did, do give it a thumbs up. Hopefully, I shall see you on plenty more Age of Empires 4 content. Take care, and see you next time.